Welcome to Cosmic Connections 101, a podcast by two sisters speaking about all things related to personal growth, self-love, and spirituality. Join us every episode as we discuss the secrets of the universe, energetic connections, consciousness, and navigating the 3D world with a 5D mindset. Take a deep breath in and out. Now let's get started.
Hey pod people, it's Jo here.
And I'm Kel, and this is Cosmic
Connections 101. Nah, we're still not in sync, man. We're never getting it.
It can just be our thing.
Yeah, it's just our thing, yo. Maybe we should just do it one at a time.
Yeah, maybe.
Now we're going to be talking about rituals and ceremonies.
Yeah. And so, Jo, you're from a more traditional kind of approach when, you're talking about rituals, right? So do you want to talk a little bit about what you do? Should we talk about grounding as an example of a ritual? Okay.
Yeah, so I do a number of things, but like I think I mentioned in one of the last steps anyway, I need to be out on earth. Even though I love my sky, I'm an air everything, right?
Yeah. When we're talking about astrology, Jody is like, big three. She's air. So
yeah, I've got
all in your head. Yeah,
I'm always up floating around, so I know I get too far up there, so I have to bring myself back to ground, like literally.
Yeah.
So I have to just take my shoes off and go stand in the grass, go be outside somewhere.
It's might be worth mentioning because we haven't really said it exactly, but we are Indigenous, so the rituals that you do also tap into our culture, right? Like it makes you feel connected in that way.
Oh yeah, totally. Like sometimes I don't even think about it. It's like I'll just know what I have to do. Yeah, like I have to be around nature, like lizards and like, when we talk about our like spirit guides and stuff, I've got like spirit totems that I've always had since I was younger that keep me on track. So I've always known, like I said at the beginning, trees are a big thing for me, and lizards are like my little nod that everything's going to be okay. So if I see them when I'm doing any type of grounding, I have to be near trees all the time, wherever I live. I woke up the other morning and I wanted to just go outside and hug my tree, so I did. Because they give off a different energy, and their frequency is earth. Yeah. And that's grounding, that's love. So I just give them a bit of a hug. They talk to me. I give them back love. I have to be barefoot on the earth. I don't necessarily say anything like mentally.
Just being out.
No, just being there and just like connecting into the earth frequency. Like I feel the humming of the earth, and it just makes me feel reconnected. Yeah. Reconnected to Mother Earth and my ancestors here. Whenever I'm going through any country, in driving anywhere,
should we just mention what that actually means?
For us in Australia, there's lots of Aboriginal countries, which is Aboriginal land, tribal boundary areas. So
we call it countries, but it is in Australia.
Yeah, it's just all. So we call it countries when you're going through other people's country. So I live in Wiradjuri country now, so I'm down Riverina way, and I'm Bundjalung. Our family are from like Lismore, Casino. That's where our family's from. But I was called to come and live down here. We get into those a bit later because there's lots of spiritual messages of why that happened. So I acknowledge the ancestors whose land I'm currently on or driving through, and they welcome and give me messages as I'm going through. So usually that's the only sort of thing that I'll do when I'm grounding. Yeah. It's just acknowledge nature and the ancestors, and everything's connected. So I love going out near the rocks and stuff as well and touching them. They've just got such ancient wisdom.
Jo, do you want to just give an example of when you feel like you need to ground yourself out in nature like that? Like what's happening in your life or in your body where you feel like you need to get outside and to do these grounding rituals?
Ideally, I would love to do them way more often than I do. So usually when I'm doing it is when I'm really overwhelmed. Yeah. Like
that's always the way. That's when we kind of come back to the basics of
you come back
practice.
to the basics of your rituals and your ceremonies to get you back on track.
Yeah.
So when I feel like I'm just too in my head or too can't think clear, I've had a lot of brain fog and stuff lately. So I'm like, okay, I just need to get clear. And the best way for me to personally do that is to just be outside.
Yeah.
Down by the river, just listening to whatever's happening. If I can't get down there, like I said, I'll just go on the grass in my yard. I take it as like every time I've got to go put the bin out, I take it as an opportunity every Wednesday to get my shoes off and standing out there. When it rains, Kel, like I'll take Kiara out there. We just go dancing in the rain, running around, like twisting.
Love it.
Yeah, cleansing.
Under the moonlight too.
Oh, 100%. We've laid under the moonlight, looking up at the stars. I'm like, that's just always grounding to me. Like keeping me on earth.
Like because I'm still based in Sydney and I don't get to see stars anymore. And so I just laugh it up whenever I'm visiting you because it's like endless amounts of stars. And in Sydney, it's like just light pollution. I'm lucky to literally see like 5 stars. Like, I'm not even kidding. And then I get confused, like, is it a star or is it a light on a crane? You know?
Like, what is that in the distance?
Because, it's like I really feel, like just disconnected from that experience living in a city. Like I live in the inner city, so it's even more light pollution than even on the outskirts of Sydney or up in the Blue Mountains. So you're so lucky with that, where it's like you can look up and see the Milky Way and see the Southern Cross. And for city kids, they just think that's like stars on a page, like on the flag, the Southern Cross.
To me.
Yeah,
like every night, like if I've driven out somewhere and I come home, like before I actually come into the house, I just stand by my car just staring up, looking around and like talking to the stars
shooting stars and
just connecting. I go, because it's just so gorgeous. And so that's like some of the stuff I do. But when I really want to, like, which I have to do this weekend actually, like because I'm going through different transformations, I feel like I'm stepping into a different era. So for me, I have to do symbolic cord cutting. So the way that I would do that now, like I have to do it in the house. I get Kiara involved, obviously. This is her house
daughter,
too.
Kiara. Yep.
That's right, the K-star. And she's got her job and I've got mine. So usually we'll go room to room. She'll open up all the cupboards, all the drawers, everything. I'll get me sage.
You definitely need a helper for the size of your house.
It's not that big.
It is compared to me. Hello.
Any house we've lived in, this is what we do. This is our little ritual. So she opens up everything. Now, I've usually got in a conch shell, I'll have sage, I'll have eucalyptus, and I just fire that up and have it smoking around the house. That's the only time I'll actually say things, which is usually...
So do you say it out loud or in your mind?
Yep. Say it out loud. I think it's more, I don't know, it feels more powerful, like I'm shifting something properly.
Yeah.
So I usually will say, I don't say like, oh, any negative energy, get out of here. I kind of just douse it with love.
Focus on the positive. Yeah.
Yeah. I just go, only love and safety in this space, like stuff like that, or whatever hits me in the moment. I don't have it planned.
Yeah.
And then we go do every room. And after Kiara's opened up everything, I do the smoking and she comes behind me and we do a water one. Like it's got eucalyptus in there. So then I feel like it's just more balanced, like the masculine, feminine.
Do you make that yourself? Like what?
This
is
one,
it in a spritz bottle? Like,
yeah, I bought it off an Aboriginal company. We'll put the links in, the notes and everything, because I just love it. And they make eucalyptus like cleansing sticks as well. Because for me, Australia, eucalyptus, our people, that's a stronger cleanser that works for me than any other thing.
Yeah, same.
So then we do the smoke fire, the water women, man woman. So I feel balanced. Like I'm a Libra and I have to balance shit out.
Yeah.
So we go around the house and we go around the house and do it that way. But like there are a couple of the sort of ceremony things that I do at home.
So
also,
how often
do it across the car?
Would you do like a cleansing for your house? Is that like a
big ones?
Yeah.
Couple
just
of times.
when you do have
should do them more.
Yeah, but like most, like at the moment, it's more when you just do feel like, okay, a purge and a new beginning. So then you like clear it all
Yep.
out.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's usually a couple of times
Do
a
you
year
ever
for the
do
big
mini
one.
ones? Like instead of doing the whole like opening up all the cupboards and everything, is there like just
Yeah,
a shortcut ritual?
probably like I do more candles.
Yeah.
Like I'll just put candles and oils and stuff in different rooms
Mm.
to shift, make sure energy is shifting and make sure windows are
And
open
just
to
open the
help things
house
go
up.
in and out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I usually do it. And also plants, like
Yeah. Yeah. Of
bring
course.
the outside in. So
Yeah.
that's how I do some of mine. So I know what sort of stuff do you do, Kel, these days?
I guess it depends on like what I am doing. So, for example, in the lead up to doing our podcast, like, because last weekend was when we sort
Hmm.
of like, yes,
Said
okay, we'll do
yes.
it. So I prepped my space here for that, and I did it in a similar way of what you just explained with, I've got my sage that's wrapped in eucalyptus in my shell as well, and I lit that, and then I light another candle as well, and I keep that burning. Often I'll also have my oil burner going with
Hmm.
eucalyptus in it.
Yep.
It's so funny because we haven't really ever talked about what we do,
No,
and it's very similar in like
it's
you
very similar.
yeah, yeah. Like obviously the basics of like, okay, burning something and then smoking it out and opening the house up and opening all the cupboards, but like
And the
just the
scent
incorporation of eucalyptus in both of our practices, like
have to.
we haven't really talked about that before.
Nope.
Yeah, see, that must be just the ancestors tapping in and working
Making
through
sure we
us.
know.
Yeah, because it
And
doesn't
it's the
feel right.
smell as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it feels like
It
it's
feels
cleansing and
clean.
clearing.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
eucalyptus. It just feels right. It feels clean then. And when I smell it, I know it's working. And
done.
so what I
Yep.
do, because obviously that, Joe, that one of my guides is Archangel Michael. So
Yep.
I will often ask for his help to clear
Hmm.
the space. And I talk out loud as well. And you said that you don't really focus on any negativity when you're, talking, but I sort of do. I'll just say, that there's no negative energy welcome here, and it's only a place for positive energy and love and light. And, this is a place of abundance and all of that kind of stuff. And I ask Archangel Michael just to clear anything that is in my blind spot,
Hmm.
something that I'm not aware that is attached to us or around us that
Yep.
doesn't serve a purpose for me or my son and doesn't need to be here, and to please shift something. Like, of course, it's like I do this whole thing in my head as well where I'm like, if it's not in my alignment with my highest good, then get rid of it. But if
Yeah.
it
If it's
is
not meant for
around
me.
for, yeah, if it's like a contract that's serving a
Hmm.
purpose for my spiritual growth, then like that whole, yeah, like if it's
Yeah.
meant to be around, like don't clear it out if it's for my own, if I want it here and I'm not aware of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, like this
It's
whole
like
thing, go into all these kind of details where I'm cleansing my space, So that's if I'm actually clearing my
the whole space.
apartment.
Yep.
But if I'm doing like a ritual for something, okay, so I'll give an example. I wanted, like about a year and a half ago, I wanted to start remembering my dreams, because I
Hmm.
know that while I'm in the astral realm and I'm dreaming, that I am working there. And so
Hmm.
I just, to me, like I've mentioned this before, like to me, sleep is just a waste of time. Like
It's restoration, god damn
it's
it. So
very
you
much my
maintained it.
Aquarius moon brain,
Oh, you're
where
funny.
it's like I just it's a waste of time, and I just feel like sleep is very weird to me. It's like you fall unconscious for
Yeah,
six
where
to
are
eight
we?
hours, and then you wake up with amnesia. Like it's just weird to
Yep.
me, right? I don't
Where are we?
yeah,
Exactly.
like it's just weird to me. So I'm like, okay, it feels useless. So I want a purpose when I go to sleep, right?
I think that's more Capricorn. You just want action.
Yeah,
You want
yeah. Yeah,
something to be going
probably.
on,
It's like
productive.
always productive. Yeah, yeah. So,
Fucking hell.
I was working with my spiritual mentor, and we figured out a way for me to be able to, um, just kind of tap into my dreams and remember when I want to, but also have the option to switch it off, because we
Mm,
do, boringly enough, need to feel rested as humans,
yes.
as
Oh, isn't that a
beings.
shame, Kel? You have to use your sleep to
So,
rest, not just
I'm
be
aware
productive.
that, yeah, exactly. I'm aware that we need rest.
Hilarious.
So when I really do want to remember my dreams, I did this ritual in the quantum where it's like I do it once and then it's done. So what I did one night intentionally, I sat in meditation and I have this it's a roll on of an essential oil, and it's like a third eye chakra roll on oil that I got at like a Mind Body Spirit festival 100 years ago. So I don't even know, like, the label is all like peeled away and all that. I don't even know if I wanted
can't
to
even put a
buy it.
reference to it.
I can't even read to that. I don't know where it's from. So it's so old. And I wanted to have that connected to my dreams. So every time I apply that to my neck area or I smell it, it's going to switch on for me that I, will be able to remember my dream. And so I sat in meditation with this roll third eye opening essential oil, and I called in Archangel Michael, and I said, every single time when I apply this before I go to sleep, I want to be active and remember my dreams, and I call in for the help of Archangel Michael to protect me, to make sure that, there's no entities kind of interfering with me, or, I just always need that kind of safety net when I'm working in the astral, because
extra protection.
It feels better. Yeah, I feel better if I have Archangel Michael or Archangel Metatron with me. So, I did this ritual one time in bed before I went to sleep, and then that's it, because I did it in the quantum, where I applied it to all versions of me in every dimension, in every single timeline. And so now I don't have to do that meditation before I go to sleep to try and remember my dreams. It's literally, I'll smell it and I'll roll it on my neck, and then I get into bed. And then that's it. And like more often than not, like I 100% will remember my dream. And so I haven't done like, I haven't applied the roll on for a little while, because like my sleep has been really shit, if I'm being honest. But that's just because of all of like the astrology going on at the moment. Everything is really kind of interfering with my sleep. So I don't really want to be active in my dream life, because I'm trying to get some sleep for my human person. Yeah. So with stuff like that, where it's like a ritual for me, I can do it once, and then I just have a little prompt, that helps me to bring it into my reality, and then it's done forever. Like one short, literal like 3-second thing, and the ritual is done.
That's mad.
Because I'm more impatient, with stuff like that. I don't have, it's not necessarily relaxing for me to be going out, and hugging trees,
You're just like, oh my God.
I love, because I'm a Pisces rising, so I do need to get by the water. But when I am with the water like that, I am not thinking really much about anything. And I don't know if my attention span would be able to do rituals. It's more like from an emotional, like I'm just feeling the collective energy, and, it's more from that perspective. It's not.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't do how you do, where it's like a ritual of grounding outside, because I don't know, it doesn't, I can't do that.
It doesn't resonate. See, same but different.
Yeah.
So that's for your dream one. So do you do any stuff like at home? Like just say because I just forgot to talk about when I was leaving your house the other day. I just sprayed one of your spritzers, by the way, when I was leaving, to protect me on my journey home.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me just now that I've got one, like my eucalyptus one, out of my door.
Yeah.
And I spray that and do a protection over myself
100%.
when I leave. Just
yesterday I used, for example, I've got like 3 different sprays that I use, pretty much every day or every other day. Did you just
turn around and look at them?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I could feel that.
Really? I was going to say, did my microphone like kind of...
I don't know. I could just feel you turn and looking right at them, because I know where you'd probably be sitting.
I did.
And I know they're to the right of you.
Yeah, so I've got 3. Amanda Ellis, who is a YouTube teacher that I absolutely love. Her sprays for me really work. And so I've got one that's an Archangel Michael, of course, and then I've got a white light one. And
that's the one I used.
Yeah, and then I've got just a grounding one, because for me, that is what is hard for me, to be connected to the earth in the way that you can easily do. Because for me, it's more, like I'm very much up in the in the ethers kind of
In
thing.
the cosmos.
Yeah, so I depending on what I'm going through, I will use one or all of those sprays. Like yesterday, for example, I just needed some Archangel Michael to kind of help me. I was feeling a bit anxious.
Yep.
So I use them all the time. And especially if I'm going somewhere, like when I go and visit you, Joe, I'll like what you did, like just spray the white light or, whatever I'm feeling just for that extra layer of protection.
Yep. It's pretty cool. I do it around the car. I also now English. I also use like I've got this like sweetgrass which I got
in
like
America.
it's a platted one, and like super special occasions, like I feel like I have to cut some of it off and chuck it in my mixture. But it's like the odd occasion. That's the only other kind of thing I'll use. But I love the smell, and I remember I think smell is a very strong one
For
for us as
me,
well.
100%.
It's like it kind of like you said, it's like with your dreaming one that it just is your prompt. It's like your body memory, and just go, okay, now this is what's going to happen. Scent.
Yeah, because it opens up different pathways, neural pathways, and scent. It is like you smell something and you remember part of your childhood. Like a certain. You remember that smell for where Pop used to live, that shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every
because
time
it was in Belmore, so it was a Lebanese deli.
Yeah, or like that delicious smell. Anytime I smell that, I just think of Pop. And I mean, how old was I when he lived there? Like 3 or
That was like
4? Really, like
80s.
like I was really, really little.
Yeah, you were about 4, I think.
Yeah. So that
Because you were
smell brings me back to when I was 4, and so that's like the ability that smell has to be able to transport us. And so that's why, often with these sprays that I have as well, if I am going into meditation, I'll spray it into my hand and then I'll like smell it from my hands, and it like kind of you feel it open up like different channels in your brain, and it helps you to be able to connect to your higher self. So
it's just like an instant, it's an extra zap.
Yeah, like, and even burning incense and stuff like that. There's a reason that incense is used in religions and stuff like that, is because it is a connection
opening
to, the other side. Because we are just
transports you.
Yeah, like we are 5 senses, in the human world, but when we access these other parts of us, we can reach, different levels of spirituality. It's like we can connect
consciousness on many multiple levels.
Yeah, exactly. And using these tools help us. Obviously you could go into like, talking about ayahuasca and all of those kinds of plant-based medicines that help open up your consciousness and stuff like that as well. But just in terms of stuff that we can use in our household, like those kinds of sprays and incense that you just get from, a spiritual shop, all of that sort of stuff is helpful. And it's always a good like indicator. It's like, sets the mood, right? If you set up something like a candle at the start of a ritual, it just helps bring everything together. It gets your mind in the zone. Yeah. It's like, this is what's happening.
Exactly. I know that like just hearing you talk about that stuff as well, just like it reminds me when I've got to do like something super important. Like I know you get your like oracle cards out a lot. I don't get mine out very often, but sometimes when I get my stones out, like my healing stones that I made, and if I want to like set my stuff up properly and do like a little reading for myself, I actually set up that in a very different way. I have to bring the elements in and the directions.
So do you want to go into that a little bit more? So do you have like a candle there and then like a bowl of water, or what do you?
Yeah, I've got to like, because the way I've got it set up anyway, like the symbolism is to represent the directions, and also like it's like a medicine kind of thing attached to each of them. So this is where I'll bring my rocks out, right? So the ones that I collect that are sitting over here. Like I always ask permission, so I want to just
I was just about
disclaimer,
to say, do you want to tell people?
Disclaimer, peoples. Okay, so there's certain times when we're out and about and I go nature hunting for my art and like for tools and stuff like that. But what I do before I go out, obviously, I do my things with the ancestors and pay respects to whichever land and area that I'm on. And as I'm walking, if I see something, I'll ask permission. I'll get a full body yes or no if I'm allowed to take it with me.
Yeah.
I've had very big no's before when you just go, yeah, nah. You can look at it, but don't touch. Yeah. Usually down here, like all the stone stuff, like they love it. I'm a stone, like the rocks, they love it. So I bring just a few back.
Yeah.
And then what I do, I use them within my art or whichever ritual stuff I'm doing. So I'll use one of the rocks as my earth. And then usually that's the only time I'll use those oil burners, Kel, with the flame. You know how it's got the water thing on top, like you were saying, right?
I use my oil burner all the time.
Yeah, see, I don't.
All the time.
I only use it for this particular ritual.
Yeah.
So if I've got that stuff out, or if I'm trying to do some other like work, then I'll have that, because it's the top is the water, the bottom is the flame, and mine's an owl. So then I just use him as my air.
Yeah,
flame.
yeah, that's cool.
So
and
like
also,
like
the flame causes air, like, so it is
yeah,
kind of
it's all linked in.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so like I'll just have, I need to have elements, the 4 directions, like it's all earthy, medicine wheel situations for me. Like that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm super connected to like the sky realm. Like I always have known that that's part of who I am. I go, but because I am so airy and up there all the time, I go, I have to stay on the earth.
Yeah. And
I don't have to go back space stuff. I love it. It's always in everything I do, but I have to be on the earth, like the foundation.
I feel like that's part of your incarnation here as well, you know, or it's like you've been here, like incarnated here many, many times, and you really appreciate being a human. You know, a lot of people, when they're starting out their spiritual journey, they want to connect with the stars, and like, you know, being in meditation where you're disconnected from the body and you want to be astral traveling and all of that. But I feel like, you know, in this lifetime, you really appreciate Mother Earth and being attached to her energy.
Yep, they speak to me. I hear them. They love it. Like I just have a very different perspective on lots of things that impact Aboriginal people. I've got a very different perspective, but like I get, like I never used to trust it as much. I used to just sort of follow the crowd, or a bit of a fence sitter sometimes.
Yeah,
because I don't like disharmony. It's part of my vibe.
Yeah,
peacekeeper. I said, but like, you know, I started accepting a long time ago that I get direct messages from ancient ancestors of the land.
Exactly.
I said, so they are my truth tellers.
Yeah,
and if I'm directly connecting to them, I don't need to worry about if I'm doing something right, wrong, or whatever. That's the thing that I used to worry about, because I know they're leading me in the right direction, and they love it.
Exactly. And I think it's like kind of, you know, might be an important point to note that we grew up off country. Like we grew up in Ganangara country. So, you know, we've always been not of where our ancestors are from. So it's been hard for us.
Identity's different.
Yeah, to ever really connect with our ancestors' stories and culture and traditions, because we didn't grow up where our people are from. So that's always played a part in you stepping into these, you know, like these messages that you're receiving with confidence, because there's all of the, you know, is this allowed sort of thing around it.
It's all the
like, it's all like politics,
approval.
Kinda,
yeah, big time. And I'm like, you know, we could talk about a different story another time of like, you know, when I'd start getting validation from spirit that connects with earth, like, you know, people from like our country and stuff, and I'd get validation in different ways, and it would blow my mind. And I'm like, yes, why aren't I just trusting that the information I'm getting is from pure ancestors who just want our stuff to keep continuing on, and not getting caught up in,
and not being restricted in all of that kind of stuff, because, you know, the people like our family who live on country aren't even necessarily interested in listening to and receiving messages from our ancestors. So just because we aren't on the land that we're from, it doesn't mean that we aren't entitled to still receive this ancient wisdom, because, you know, we're here open arms wanting to learn, but we just are not living in that location. But that doesn't take away. Yeah, it doesn't take anything
because it's all
away.
Connected.
And I mean that's true for our family members. They don't live where their people are from, and that goes for a lot of people, like, you know, a lot of city blackfellas displaced from where their ancestors are actually from, but they're still connected and they still receive spiritual messages from their ancestors. It doesn't make it any kind of, you know, any less important information or any more valid.
Just different. That's right.
It's different. exactly.
It's a new time. We can access it from anywhere. In our mind, we can go back to country. I go, it's always good to be on physical country. I go, but
it's not necessary.
Like I said, the brain is a marvelous thing. All of our neurotransmitters, everything can shift and change and take us wherever we want, when we want. It's a manifester. So,
and
you can stay connected. Everyone's a caretaker of the land. So anyone who's connecting in with ancient wisdom, they want you to. Like, they want you to, because the people that are more open to it, they start to really honor and appreciate the people that were here before. Whereas everyone who's in the now, who's, affected by drugs, alcohol, the white noise, just get caught up in the victimization of too much stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of just love and really remembering the ancestors. It's not about fighting.
That's what I was going to say is, like, it's our literal DNA, so it doesn't matter if we're not,
it's about community and connection.
If we're not living on our indigenous land, it's still in our blood. So this information that we're receiving is still direct from our ancestors. So it's always
connected all along the song lines anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And if anything, it's like, I know growing up, we did want to be, where our family's from, but at the same time, it gave us a longing to want to feel that connection. So we want to
open up in a different way.
Yeah, we want it more, and we really listen and pay attention when we have these things drop in from our ancestors, because it feels even more special because it's not easily accessible.
Yeah, it's not.
It's hours away where our mob's from. So it's like, when we have stuff that we can cling on to that we receive, it's even more special.
Yeah, and I think, for me, like when I meet people as well, I'm like so happy for them to have chats and convos about anything. And I always tell them, like, because you can see there's people that just really want to be open and welcoming and love and know and respect all of the cultural stuff, and they're interested. So I always make sure I just let them know, that we're all here at the same time. They're caretakers of the land too. Like, they need to be open and aware and be respectful, and they really are. Like, where I live now, the people that I've come across.
Do you mean like non-Indigenous people? Yeah, that's beautiful.
People that are, they're just on their spiritual journey. Once you start to open and understand ancient cultures. And then,
that's what I was going to say. The thing is, it's ancient wisdom for everybody. Like, it's ancient wisdom of the earth. Yes, we are in Australia, but, it's for
ancient knowledge from the sky and the earth, and it's tapped into at a higher level.
It's like our people just had access to this information, and like we have unique DNA, and like just geographically we were isolated, so we can kind of exactly. We'll get into that another day. But like we have kind of a unique ability to be able to tap into this ancient wisdom because we were isolated like that. So anybody who feels into that same type of energy as our ancestors, it's meant for them. If you feel this connection to Indigenous culture and land and appreciate it, it's for you.
Could have been one of their past lives.
Yeah, I was going to say, chances are, if I read your past life, I'm sure that you were somewhere, like, like probably where you live now. Mate. Yeah, where you live now, that's probably where you were from, your ancestors.
I think
a couple lifetimes ago.
I think it's cool, like, when we meet other spiritual people and, we call them the soul tribe.
Yeah.
Like, I always just love that the tribe and the clan is what it's referred to, because obviously in our families and culture, it's like, that's what it is. The clan is your family.
Yeah.
They're the people you connect to.
It's funny that you say that, because, you were always a bit like irked out about, like, using cultural certain things like that when it's not, like, when it's outside
it's not for you.
Yeah, because that term for me, soul tribe and stuff, that used to irk me so bad. I used to hate hearing it when people would say, like, oh yeah, it's my soul tribe, or like, that's my totem, or like whatever. It used to bother me. But then as like you kind of understand more and grow.
That should be our next episode.
Yeah, it's like you like you just appreciate the fact that they're coming from a place of love and openness, and it's nothing nefarious, and it's like they have good intention. So that's what you just see is their heart.
Yeah, it's the further you get on your journey, that it's about love and connection, not like ownership and identity and like like just the fight stuff that's around it, like ownership. Like, no, we didn't own anything. Everything's on borrowed.
Exactly.
And you just like respect it. We're up to question time. Like,
what rituals do you do in your daily life? Like, and is it daily or is it weekly, monthly? Like, whenever you're feeling a bit, down and out, like what kind of rituals do you do? Is it similar to ours with, using sage to smoke out the place? Or I'm just fascinated.
Some spritzers.
Or like just meditating.
Go hug a
crystals,
tree.
hug a tree.
When I'm stressed at work, that's what I'd do. I'd got my tree out at work too, give me a little bit of calm down.
But I wonder what the people think when they see you do that.
Like quick things. Like sometimes I'll just grab a crystal and I'll chuck it in my bra, go to work.
Yeah.
And know
like that's helpful.
Yeah, so other little things in the car, protections and, just different little things. Like, what else is everyone doing? I'm interested in trying your dream one, Kel. Like,
Yeah, I'll help you with that.
Yeah, help me out, cuz.
Yeah.
Hook me up. No, sounds good. All right, well, we'll leave that one for there, eh?
Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode. This podcast has been made with love from our hearts to your ears. Thank you for listening to Cosmic Connections 101.